Right. I am now live. All right. I'm waiting for the connection. IAAH Radio Plus. I'm tuning in. All right. Hi everyone. I'm not connecting to the radio. Okay. Hello, mi amores. How are you today? Moderator, I don't have a connection with IAAH Radio, but I'm going to move forward. Hi everyone. How are you today? Mi amores, happy Saturday. How's everyone doing out there? Do you hear me? Does anyone hear me? All right, so I'm JudgeDesire for Knowledge. Welcome back to this episode of Know Your Truth, Real Talk. Yeah, we're going to do that today. I am not connecting with IAAH Radio. I will contact the CEO later. All right, sorry, IAAH Radio, for some reason it's not connecting. But hello, my subscribers and all my fans out there that watch this show. Thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you and the time that you take out for things that make sense and not nonsense, right? um, I know I pressed this again. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to check my connections and see why I'm not connected to IAAH Radio. But either way, shout out to them. I'm on their channel every Saturday at 3 and here on YouTube for Know Your Truth, Real Talk. So the subject this week and the episode that I chose for this week is really something I thought that we needed to have explained, because we do it over and over again. Most of us make mistakes, but it's not failures, so don't worry. And before we get started, please like, share, and subscribe. Please, it's really, really worth the time to put a like out there so other people in need of the knowledge and information that I send out will actually get it. That's how it works, folks. It's not a lot of money for that. I'm trying to get a good visual. I'm not out in nature today. It's pretty cool and brisk. So unfortunately, I love nature, I wasn't able to get that nice scenery out there, and I didn't have time for my new stuff I put up, but you'll see it next time. So right now it's a little bland in the back, but don't worry about that. This is a very exciting episode. I hope you like it as much as I like creating it and getting it out to you. Well, if you're tuned in yet, IAAH Radio, hello, welcome each and every one of you. CEO 5, DJ 5 AM, thank you so much for broadcasting this as well. So on this episode of Know Your Truth, Real Talk, I'm going to be discussing with you guys repeated mistakes that we make. And some of us acknowledge it and some of us don't. But how did that work out for you? You know, did it work out? Most likely it didn't, because if we're repeating it over again, then it didn't work out. Did you hear anything about that? Play button. I did. It's still trying to connect. Sorry for the interruption. I'll check again. I placed it. I don't know what it is. You got to contact him. Either way, it says connecting. But either way, I'm on now. So let me do my YouTube. We can upload this to them later. I'm not sure what happened there, but that's okay. Nothing stops the show. Nothing stops giving out good content. Nothing stops the truth from getting out. All right. So as I was saying on this episode of Know Your Truth, Real Talk, we are always make mistakes in our daily lives. So how did that work out for you? Because when you repeat the same mistakes over and over again, thinking that, something else is going to come out of it. Have you repeated the same mistakes over and over again, thinking you would get a different result? Maybe within your everyday lives, your relationships, in your workplace, in your career, your finances, wherever the case may be. In our daily lives, we usually have made so much mistakes that we repeat it without acknowledging that we made that mistake. So I'm going to start this episode with our mistakes that we make repeatedly, and that this first one will be in our daily lives. In our daily lives, sometimes we people please, you know what I mean? And They're called the people pleasers. Not all of us do it, but most of us do. And we don't even acknowledge that we're doing it. They put everyone's comfort before their own, overextending and overpromising. How did that work out for you? You're left feeling drained, unseen, unheard, and resentful. Yeah. Another one in our daily lives that we do is called the serial apologizer. Someone that's always constantly apologizing for everything. Apologizes consistently, even if they are not wrong. Uses their apologies to avoid conflict, not to create peace. So we have people that normally do that on our everyday daily lives. I'm speaking about daily lives right now and the mistakes we made. So this is the serial apologizer, someone that always repeatedly apologizes all the time, even if they're not wrong. How did that work out for you? You're left feeling like a doormat and losing your self-identity. So that's what happens when you're too much of an apologetic person. There's other ways to do things, but if you're always apologizing for things even when you're right, how did that work out for you? You feeling drained or like a doormat and loses self-identity. So you don't want to be apologizing all the time. Another everyday life mistake that we make is a dreamer who never acts. Okay, so these are people that never acts on what they say they would do in the future, or they dream it, but they never actually step up to the plate. Talks about change, but never commits to it, waits for the perfect moment that never comes. So we have a lot of us that have done this too, and it's sad, but yeah, it's kind of like procrastination. How did that work out for you? Because years pass and the dream becomes a regret. I wish I shoulda, coulda sets in, right? Don't we all have that when you didn't make that dream happen? You talked about it, but you didn't act on it. That's a I wish I shoulda, coulda. So when I say, how did that work out for you? You got to remember that mistake. Okay, it didn't. It didn't work out. Otherwise, it wouldn't have had to be repeated again, right? So we're going to move on from our daily lives mistakes to our mistakes made in relationships. All right. And you take it how it pertains to you. I'm just out here portraying what's needed to be said about certain specifics that I've seen. As I said, I use my experience, world experience, life experiences, work experiences, personal, family, and whatever comes together so I can create the content required to help those, assist people to think about things, not just empower themselves, but to think about their actions as well. So when you start thinking about your actions and you realize this is really healthy, when you realize you've made the mistake and it was your fault, and you included yourself into creating whatever mistake you made, and not blaming other people and you know pointing the fingers at others, is really healthy. Because some people, they always, oh, it's somebody else, it's my family, it's my friends, it's my husband, it's my wife, it's my girlfriend, it's my boyfriend. No, it's you, most of the time, not all the time. And so I have this other show on, and I have like over 302 videos. Look in the mirror, because sometimes when we look in the mirror, I've done it. I had to look in the mirror and I have seen what I needed to do so I can make the changes. And most people should do that. It's very healthy to do so. But now we're going to go into, after we left our everyday lives mistakes, we're going into our relationship mistakes that we've made. Okay, so here's the romantic idealist. Okay, this is a person who falls for potential, not reality, and attracted to working on projects, not people. Instead of partners, thinking they can fix everyone. Yeah, we all want to do it, but we can't fix people. We can only have them, we could walk alongside with them if they're our friends or anything, give them a little bit of push, but you can't fix everyone. So how did that work out for you when you tried to do that? Well, you end up drained, disappointed, and questioning your own worth, right? That's what happens. Can't do that. And now we have, in the relationship, mistakes made in a relationship, the control freak. Oh my goodness, how many people have that in their life at least once? Well, maybe not, but I've seen it. The control freak believes they can control everything, relationships, emotions, and timing. Refuses to let go, over analyzes, and manipulates outcomes. Now, if this has been you, this is definitely not good. How did that work for you though when you do that, when you believe that you can control everything, relationships, emotions, and timing of the relationship, and when it's not your timing, you still push forward, over analyzing and manipulating outcomes to make it happen for you? How did that work out for you? Hmm. Well, you end up pushing away people, ends up isolated and exhausted. That's what happened to you. So once we recognize what happened after the fact, of the effect, then we can move forward and see that we've made the mistake. Everything is not a mistake. Sometimes, you look at it as a mistake. It might not be. It might be the right thing, but you have to acknowledge the actual mistakes that has been created in order to resolve the situation. So my next mistake in relationships is the forgiver without boundaries. So this is a type of person who keeps forgiving the same betrayals to keep the peace. I mean, over and over again. They mistake tolerance for love and confuses endurance with strength. So these are people are really, they forgive anything. You could walk all over them. It's okay. Sometimes you're going to have to stand out up for yourself and bring boundaries to your relationships, because we're talking about that right now. And boundaries is not a bad thing. It's just saying, I won't allow, instead of ultimatums, that sounds like this is it for you. So I choose to use the word boundaries, because ultimatums is nice, but not as nice as boundaries. Ultimatums is more of a serious thing in a relationship, where your relationship probably went so bad that now you have to do an ultimatum. That's not what boundaries are. Okay. Boundaries are actually replacing rules upon yourselves so that people don't walk all over you. And at this point, we're talking about in relationships. So when you set that boundary, these type of things, like I just said, the forgiver without boundaries keeps forgiving the same betrayals. Someone doesn't come back into your life repeatedly and keep doing the same thing, and you don't acknowledge it. I mean, if you think that's okay, it's okay. I've seen people forgive people. Excuse me? Okay. It's halfway through now. That's not gonna make sense. They're not gonna understand the show now. Okay, it's been reset. Let's see. I'm not gonna waste time on it if it hasn't. It's still saying connected. I don't know what's going on. I don't want to lose my train of thought. So that's it for the night. We can upload it to IAAH radio. So the forgiver without boundaries, that's like someone that I was just saying, the same betrayals, they keep going through the same thing. So for instance, let's say someone always betrays you a certain way, always coming in and out and doing the same thing at the end, leaving you dried out, worn out, exhausted, used, abused. You spent all your money on them, let's say, this is hypothetically, and they come in and out all the time doing it, but you're not the only one. There's someone else all the time. These are betrayals. Now, if you see this type of betrayal in others, um, you can't you can't continue to consistently allow someone to keep walking on you. I've seen it a lot. Let me get back before the train of thought is gone again, because I got interrupted. Okay. Um, the I've seen people that you forgive your exes or your ex-husbands, and then you sit there. They're still your friend, even though they betrayed you very hard. Um, very much, and you kind of like forget. That's worse than forgiving. I can forgive, I can't forget. I had that on my last show. Um, that show was pretty good. I got a lot of people that like that. Um, I forgot the name, but let me get back on it. So when you're with someone and they know that you're going to continue to forgive them, in other words. So they're going to keep coming back, and they're going to keep taking all your energy, your strength, and your goodwill, and use it and move on. So how did that work out for you? You lose self-respect, and you become so um invisible in your own life. Here you are, like I said, let me go back. Last week I said it on my other show, okay? Um, what I said was, you can forgive, but you can't forget to allow someone to come back in to keep walking over you. That means that sometimes the friendship has to end, the relationship has to end to a point where you're not even friends later. That's how bad the betrayal is to you. However, the betrayal was to you, that's how much you would. Do you want this person in your life as a friend? I mean, not me, but I forgive. You can forgive, and it's okay to forgive and close those doors. I have another show on Close the Doors. A lot of people need to learn how to do that lesson. Some people feel like, oh, that's harsh. Isn't it harsh that what you're going through by someone else causing you such pain hard enough? I don't see how that equates with it's okay for you to be hurt all the time and keep those doors open all the time. But everyone's different. I choose. I'm a tough girl. I choose to close the door. I move forward. Go back. If I go back, there's a reason that brought me back there, and either to learn the lesson or it's real. But other than that, I try to close doors as much as possible because my life is going to move on. I'm not going to sit stagnant on one relationship when there's many people out there that would love to be with a good person. So if you find yourself that you're a good person, there's no reason for you to sit around waiting for a bum or whatever, thinking that you're not worth it. That's where you close the door. Okay, this is the final time. You betrayed me one too much. Even one time betrayal, that's enough for me. But some people are repeating. The same person comes in over and over, and they're still friends. And then they wonder why you want to cut off the friendship. Are you serious? You don't know why I want to cut off a friendship with you? First of all, you're blocked. You're not going to be calling me. I'm not talking to you. If I have children with you, call them. Don't talk to me. I have nothing to do with you. I don't have a problem with you still having communication with my children. But us as friends, I don't think so. I've been betrayed enough, but I can let you go that I don't harm you. That's healthy. I won't harm us or whatever for my children's sake, for my own sake, because I love myself too much. But you're harming yourself when you keep allowing the same people to betray you, act like they want to stay with you to be friends when they're not your friends, they're your frenemy. So we're going to move on to the next part of relationship mistakes made in relationships, the emotional escapist. Oh, wow. This is a person that avoids dealing with pain, distracts with work parties, distractions with work parties, new relationships, or substances. That's how they get away. They emotionally never heals, just resets the same story with different people. Have you ever had someone like that? I think I did. That's called the emotional escapist. And they avoid dealing with pain, with distracts with work. They do that with work, partying, new relationships, or substances. Never heals, just reset the same story with different people. So they don't change their story. It's never them. They never made the mistake. How did that work out for you? Life becomes a loop of temporary highs and deep lows, believe me. And that becomes tiring after a while. Now, there's another one in the relationships, mistakes we make in relationships, called the second chance giver. Now, these are the type of people that keeps letting the same person back, as I was stating, after being hurt multiple times. Mistakes familiarity, which means that you feel safe being with this person because you knew them for a while, or maybe you grew up with them, or maybe you've been in long-term relationships, and or loneliness for love. So all of us been in one of these positions. I don't know about bringing second chances. Um, but there are a lot of people that have given second chance, and it's okay. God said, we can forgive, and some of us, depending on what the betrayal was, if it was really bad, or if you're married, I understand why you would give a second chance. But outside of a marriage, it's up to you to see if that betrayal was worth it or to move on. The second chance giver keeps getting the same person back, letting them in. Okay, you're letting them in. They hurt you before, and they're in it with you because they're familiar with you. They grew up with you. They married you. They friends with you for safety and loneliness. So are we so lonely that we're going to allow people to just come back whenever they feel like it? How did that work out for you? Hmm? Well, it ends up in emotional cycles of hope and heartbreak, believe me, keeping doors open that life itself kept closing. So when the life itself keeps closing these doors, why are you reopening them? I'm gonna even say this is not only for me in relationship, but in family. Um, yeah, we might have bloodlines together, blood ties, but once I close that door, I close the door. Okay. It depends on how bad a betrayal is again, but it depends on which doors you close. For some people, no, I don't have any way of saying, okay, I'm going to close this door because this is the way this is. Sometimes we need to completely close doors. And even, sometimes it may even be your family, hopefully never your kids. I could never do that. I wouldn't suggest that. But family, yes, I could close the door on some. Um, Biological, whatever. Some people can't do that. And some of it is causing harm to you. And it doesn't mean that you can't um s- talk, hi, how are you, and that's it, and be decent. It's just that you don't have that same engagement with them anymore, where they're learning about your business all day long and about you, but at the same time they don't like you. I've seen a lot of families like that. Like I said, where I work, it's a relationship oriented thing. The court system has every relationship in the book. So I see family relationships, criminal relationships, and sometimes this it's repeating because we're not closing those doors. And I'll leave it at that because Legal Matters is next week. So come check me out on Legal Matters once a month, every end of the month. Let me check if that happened. I'll check again if IAAH tuned in. They got to fix their server actually. Uh, Unfortunately, okay, that's not the one I wanted. All right, guys, sorry about that. Let's minimize. Uh, Sorry about that. I'm not gonna minimize that. Hey, everybody, just bear with me. I'm so sorry. I was trying to check on something that is actually on the screen. All right, I'm not gonna try anymore. Yeah, I'm gonna keep going. So, when I say how did that work for you, there's emotional cycles of hope and heartbreak, keeping doors open that life kept closing. Let that be real for you. Life closed the doors for you for a reason, and it doesn't mean to keep opening it up. So every time you open this door, you're going to find yourself back in the same position. That's mistakes. Those mistakes are actual lessons to be learned, and you're not learning them. So they're going to keep happening until you learn that this one is probably the door that should be closed. It's up to you. But like I said, I've seen relationships where I work, and it's sometimes those doors needs to be closed because they end up criminal offenses, family offenses, all kinds of things, and it's sad. The next mistake in a relationship that people make is called the self saboteur. That's someone that sabotages every relationship or most of them, but the good ones. And then the bad ones they accept. They push away happiness when things finally go right, doubts love, success, or kindness, and subconsciously expects failure. So, how did that work out for you? It proved to them, it probably proves them right by destroying what they craved the most. I mean, who does this stuff? That's what was my show. Who taught you that? Go watch that. That was good because I don't know where people were taught this stuff, but at today's show is how did that work out for you? These mistakes are no joke. Everybody must have went through one or two. If it's not this type of specific mistake, we all make mistakes. If you don't, well, good for you. I don't know anyone in the world that doesn't, and no one. But Jesus Christ is the most perfect. So we human, we make mistakes exactly. So don't be ashamed of mistakes that are being made. Look at it like, man, I know I made that mistake. I used to be really upset with myself when I made mistakes in my life because I said, how do I get that back? And it's not about how you get that back, that chance back, or for work, careers, goals, relationships. It's how you handle it. Okay, I learned that lesson. I'm going to move forward, and I'm going to get this chance made in a different way for me than the mistake I made. I know what I need to do. And that's rationalizing with yourself, stating to yourself, I had to learn this lesson. Now, if you don't do that, then you're not going to learn the lesson. And so that's why I say, how did that work out for you? Not to be a mean, um, way of stating things. It's just to let you know what sometimes we have to look back and say to ourselves, how did that work out for us? All right. So in the mistakes made in relationships, we're on to the one who never learns from red flags. All right. This one is, I've done this. So I'm not ashamed because I had to learn these lessons more than once actually in relationships. All right. The one who never learns, and I'm sure all of you will, those that can, you're courageous if you said you did. If you could tell me right now, you did too, didn't you? The one who never learns from red flags confuses chemistry with compatibility. We've done that. Ignores intuition because they crave connections. I don't know about craving connections, but I have ignored red flags more than once in my life in relationships. And how did that work out for you, though? I know how it worked out for me, but thank God I learned the lesson. Well, you end up wondering why every relationship feels the same. Yeah, like this dude did the same thing the other dude did. This girl is the same way that my ex was. This is because we didn't get the red flags. We're not looking into it. So that's what I have for relationships, and we're gonna move on in the workplace. All right, mistakes made in the workplace, and we all know we've made mistakes in the workplace. That's including in our daily lives as well. So I included the workplace because most of the stuff I get is from my workplace. I'm sure because we are at work more hours than we are at home, more days a week than we are at home. So I had to include it. So in the workplace, the boss ass kisser. You know who that is, right? There's always a boss ass kisser out there. The coworker who tells their boss everything you're doing and saying, but you think they're your friend. Do any of you have those? I've seen it. I've actually had one. How did that work out for you? So we can make mistakes and think that people really like us when they really don't. You have to be really attentive, protect yourselves, protect your heart from people because people will do whatever it takes nowadays. It's not that innocent time where people really care about you more enough, but there are caring people out there, but just as much as bad people out there. So when I say, how did that work out for you? Okay, here's an example of what I've seen. Your ideas are being used, but you're not the one getting the credit. Has that ever happened to you? Most coworkers aren't your friend. You are there to work, not to make friends. I always tell people that, especially with people who take your friendship for granted. So I always used to say to my coworkers when I find out that they were, gossipy and stuff, I said, you know what? I'm really here to do a job. I'm not here to make friends. I take my money, I make my wages, and I head back home. That's it for me. I commute too far to be trying to make friends that I already have my friends, and this is a job. But if you happen to actually make friends, then God bless you, because there is one or two that might be really nice. You never know. Some people have that luxury. Us women, I don't think so. Men more. But that's in my opinion only, though. Then this is my show. So I always say, know your truth, real talk. You bring your truth, I bring mine. All right. And so in the workplace, mistakes made in the workplace, this is the two-faced coworker. This is the coworker who stabs you in the back by gossiping with coworkers about you. How did that work out for you? So you got to be careful. They smile. Now, there's a song like this, and I wanted you to know they smile in your face all the time. They want to take your place. Backstabbers. I heard that on show IAAH radio. My DJ husband, he played that too, and a lot of DJs do. Go check them out. They have great music and great DJs. DJ Bug and Heart. He's on YouTube. Go check him out. Mixcloud and also Twitter. Not Twitter, I'm sorry. What's the name of it? Babe, you know the name? All right. Twitch. That's it. I just remembered. And so this is how I see a two-faced coworker. The coworker who stabs you in the back by gossiping with coworkers about you. They smile in your face all the time and they want to take your place. So be careful. Those are backstabbers. And I took that from a song. Actually, I made that one up from a song because it's true. And so, again, mistakes made in the workplace by anybody. It could be you, it could be someone else. Maybe you could teach them these lessons ahead of time. Be someone's inspiration. The next one is the work click. Have you ever had a work where you went to work and there was a work click? People that actually click together and that's it. They don't care about anyone else, but and you wanted to be a part of that click. I don't, but a lot of people. So this is about that, the work click. You keep trying to be a part of the work click that always wants you to agree to their likes and dislikes. How did that work out for you? Well, you know what? Always wanting to fit in and be a part of a group, that you have to sell yourself to their ideas, beliefs, and under their control. Always in need of popularity is what, and being a follower, not a leader. That's not me. So I don't like cliques, but I've seen work cliques where I work, and the people that are in the work clique, that's exactly who they are. They always want you to agree to their likes and dislikes. I remember one time, I'm not in a clique, but a lot of people talk to me and I see these cliques. So if I address the situation and I disagree with you, it's an honest disagreement, an honest debate, whatever you want to call it. Work cliques don't believe in that. They're like, no, what we say is right and what you're saying is incorrect. And they're all agreeing with each other, even if it's incorrect. I'm like, no, I don't believe that. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to disagree with you. Now, I'm not in the clique, but this is what they do. You would never be in our clique. I don't want to be a part of your clique because you're a bunch of followers. You follow each other, and you want to be popular. I don't have a need to be popular. That's one. I don't have a need to be under your control. I have my own ideas and beliefs. I don't believe in yours. I have the right to say I don't think that's true. As for instance, if someone says something about someone gossiping, I remove myself because I don't know that person enough to gossip about her or listen to their gossip. And if I like a person and you don't, and this has happened to me before at work, I like a person and you don't, and I continue to like them. I have a right to like, oh, but that person's crazy. Oh, but that person's not nice to us. Oh, but that's you. That's your problem. You have the problem. But some people don't see that as their problem. So this is what I call the work clique. When you're being a follower, not a leader. So I'm not a follower, so I would never get along with any work clique. Now, how do we stop repeating these mistakes? All right. For the romantic idealist, I say stop trying to heal others at the cost of your own peace. Ask yourself, do I love this person or the versions I've created in my head? Yeah, sometimes that's what it is because you deserve real present love, not a project. Some people use love as a project. As far as the control seeker, how do we create, not repeat that mistake? Accept that peace isn't control, it's in trust. Life doesn't need your permission to unfold. Let's go and let go and let it surprise you. That's another way of getting through the control seeker. Those who will find out that they've made a mistake because they've done this. Sometimes you try to control a situation that's not out of your hands. Leave it alone and let it work for you. The nature, God, the universe, we all push you through and it'll work. But when we take control of it, this is what happens. So in order to resolve the situation of the mistake you made, accept that peace is in control. It's in trust. Life doesn't need your permission to unfold. Let it go. Let it surprise you. Some of us need that. And when we are going to the forgiver without boundaries, how we learn from this mistake is um, no is not a form of disrespect. Um, the forgiver is a form of, learn no is a form of self-respect. I'm sorry. Learn that no is a form of self-respect, which I said earlier. not cruelty. Because if you say no to someone, it's okay. You can love someone and still walk away, which I said earlier. Yes, you can. Boundaries are you love yourself back. That's what's important. When you have boundaries, you love yourself back. So when you forgive too much, no is your friend. You can't always take people back. You can't always say yes, yes, yes. All right. And when it makes, how do you resolve a mistake? When it's the emotional escapist, that person that always runs away from the relationship. Sit with your feelings, don't sedate them. Healing starts when you stop escaping from your story. What you refuse to face, you're forced to repeat. So remember that these are all lessons, and this is why I brought this up and I'm doing this content. Because as we started with how did that work out for you, we're now ending it with resolve motivational um, techniques to stop the continuous mistakes being made by individuals, yourselves, whoever. The next mistake that we're resolving now is the people seeker. How can you resolve that? How can we Okay, how can we stop ourselves from making these mistakes? As a people pleaser, you're not here to be liked, you're here to be real. So if you are more concerned with how much people like you, how many fans you're going to have in your own little world, because if you're not on a platform, or you are, and that's all you're seeking is a people seeker, then you're not being real at all. So the only way to resolve that is you're not here to be liked, you're here to be real, and you keep it real. The serial apologizer. This is someone that consistently apologizes. We called it earlier. And so, in order to rectify this situation and this mistake, would be to replace sorry with a thank you instead of I'm sorry. And it, depending on what the situation is, sometimes excuse me, because I know I've done this by mistake where you'll step on someone's toe or something, say you sorry. Okay, that's understandable. But everything is I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Excuse me is good, or I thank you for your patience. Confidence begins when you stop apologizing for being yourself. And I almost got caught up in that. And I know a lot of people do. Like we constantly will say, I'm sorry, not to relationship things only, but in everyday life, like little thing, oops, I'm sorry. No, no, stop apologizing for being yourself if that's who you are, or you want to tell someone something and say, I'm sorry, but I believe this. Don't say I'm sorry. Say, excuse me, but I believe in this, or thank you, but I believe in this. Don't utilize sorry so much. That's not good for you. And in order for confidence to begin, we need to stop apologizing for being yourself. And the next one that I have here, which is what we went through earlier, the second chance, how we can reestablish that mistake, not reestablish the mistake, but fix that mistake, is chance, the second chance giver. Okay. This is the person that always gives second chances. Forgive them in your heart, but close the door. Yeah. Uh, Forgive them. I'm going to say it again. I said this earlier. Forgive them in your heart, but close the door in reality. They don't even have to know. If they valued you, they wouldn't keep making you start over. I mean, over and over in a relationship, the second chance. And if it's more than second chance, shame on you. No. How did that work for you? No, don't do it. If they valued you, they wouldn't keep making you start over a relationship that was started before to come back and start again. The self-saboteur. This is the person we spoke earlier that sabotages everything that comes close to them that they want in life. First of all, you should notice your fear triggers, because we all get triggers. We don't realize it, but once you start realizing that things can trigger you, you're right on top of growth, I should say. You are not who you were when you first got hurt. You can handle good things now. So if you're a self-saboteur, which is someone that sabotages everything, notice your fear triggers. You are not who you were when you first got hurt. You can handle good things now, and you'll know. not to sabotage it. You know the difference, because when you sabotage too much good things and not the bad, because I've seen people take on relationships that are so bad. I like the bad guy, I like the bad girl, and then there's a decent person that comes by, they sabotage it. Why are you sabotaging good relationship to take for, and then it's your preference. But that you know that you want the good one, because in the end the bad always ends up bad. I mean, there's no which way about it. It happens. And so that's good for that one, the self-sabotager. I like that one because a lot of people do that in relationships. They sabotage the good one, and then when it's gone, it's gone. You end up with the one that you didn't sabotage and find out that was the one that should have been gone. And it's not funny to laugh about, but once you get through the lessons and the mistakes that I'm presenting here, you start laughing about with the ones you made, because you have succeedingly moved forward and learned a lesson. That's the whole point. So another mistake that we can correct is the dreamer who never acts. Remember that one I said earlier? How did that work out for you when you never act on your dreams? Well, first you start small instead of thinking so huge out there, because you have to start small. You have to crawl before you walk, right? So you start small. Progress. The progress loves action. So not perfection. So when you're trying to do things on a perfection level, this is where you fail, because we all try to do that. The right time is whenever you decide to begin. But that's how you, the dreamer who never acts, can actually help yourselves on helping your dream come true. The other one, remember the red flag ignorer? Yeah, they always ignore red flags. This one. So the way to realize a red flag, because if you were one of these, if you go back later, if you're just joining in, I have put up the mistakes that have been done. I think this one was in relationships. So the red flag ignorer, trust your gut. It's your oldest ally. Believe me, it's yours. It's you. It's a part of you. Remember, love doesn't hurt. Confusion does. When someone show you who they are, believe them the first time, and then you will get out of that. Just look at it like that, the red flag. Now, I know some of us, we don't want to see that, because we're saying, oh, this relationship is looking good. I'm really enjoying it. Some of us, we in for the money. Um, I've seen it. And those are the ones that they don't care if the red flags. But I'm talking about decent relationships, that you're not there to sabotage other people's lives and take them apart and manipulate them. I'm talking about the tricksters. The red flag ignorer will wake up and say, well, I don't want to be used by this person, by correcting the fact that they ignore red flags. Trust your gut. It's your oldest ally. Remember, love doesn't hurt. Confusion does. And when someone shows you who they are, believe me, believe them the first time, and you will be okay. Because it's when you ignore them and those red flags that you end up in situations. Don't trust anyone. Exactly. And especially when you don't trust anyone, trust your intuition. All right. And so when at the workplace, I wanted to make sure I got that in. How we can correct mistakes when at the workplace. Stop trying to be liked by everyone, because everyone isn't for you. That's my favorite one, because I used to work at a certain place before I transferred, the same industry, but I transfer because I like learning, growing, and everything, and promotions. You know, when you take exams, you transfer out. So I've seen this as a real big one. I used to say to my coworkers or colleagues, whichever one you want to call them, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to work. Because half of them were cutthroat backstabbers. So, and I've seen, if you talk about other people, you got to be talking about me. So I don't like gossip, period. People call me, I don't even pick up my phone. I don't have time for gossip. You waste your life. I got a life. I'm trying to do things. I want to move forward, not backwards. I don't think it's something that's going to be prevalent for me to be talking about people all day on a phone. Who does that? So I'm not into that. So basically at work, I would say, listen, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to just do my job, but I respect people. That's enough. You don't have to be friends. You can respect them because you got to work with them. But everybody wants to be friends. I'm not friends with people that talk about people behind their back. I think that if you can do that, you will talk about me as well. I do not have time for gossip. That's one. Gossip is a sin, actually. I don't remember what scripture I saw that in, but it really is. You shouldn't be talking about people. Either way, when in the workplace, stop trying to be liked by everyone because everyone isn't for you. You aren't supposed to be going to work to make friends. You go there to work. And if you do make friends, make true ones, not those fake ones that want to you to buy their lunch, drive them around, and not pay you gas money when you go to lunch or take you home, and not pay you for the gas, things like that. Those aren't your friends. I mean, you don't ask for gas, but say, listen, here's a few dollars. Thank you for taking me home all week. You know, you get people that you took them home and they're like, they don't even say, here's some gas money. That's not nice. I don't consider those type of people friends. So basically some people would because, oh, that's my buddy. They don't have to. Well, okay, then they can ride on you, not on me. I'm not looking for anything, but even a suggestion is better than nothing. You don't have to pay the gas, but I don't have to take you either. A suggestion, and I could say no. I'm good, but thank you for suggesting that you could give me the gas money. That's appreciation. Those are real friends. So in the workplace, be very skeptical on people that try to be your friends too much. You never know why. So in our everyday lives, mistakes aren't failures. I just want to say that they're invitations. Okay. Every pattern in life is whispering, you missed the lesson. Try again. And at the moment you recognize this, you reclaim your power. It's just life telling you over. The universe, God, you didn't miss anything. You are learning from it. Okay. So say to yourself, this time I choose differently, not because they changed the person, whoever, but because I did. And once you think like that, I'll say it again. Say to yourself, this time I choose differently. Whatever relationship it is, whether in the workplace, whether in everyday lives, like I just explained all these topics, or whether in friendship, relationship, workplace, or our everyday lives. Say to yourself, this time I choose differently, not because they changed, but because I did. And then you'll be an inspiration to yourself. Who's better to be an inspiration to you than yourself? Who better to empower you but yourself? I mean, really, I like doing empowerment shows like this because it helps me to say, you know what, I've been there before. I'm not going to be a liar and say that I was a great person, strong and courageous. I did some of these mistakes too, but if I didn't learn from it, I wouldn't be able to come and bring it to you. So I hope you like this episode this month, this day, this Saturday. I meant to say this month, the end of the month. Next week, I'll be bringing you legal matters. And so when I bring you legal matters next week, it's a surprise. I'm not sure if I'm going live next week, but I'll try. And so I'm headed out to go shopping now. But I hope you all having a great day, a great Saturday, a great weekend. Mi amores, take care of yourselves because I am out and about. Oh, let me tell you, I am going to be doing I'm out and about travels, which it will mean the destinations that I go to and I'm out and about will be particularly places that I go to eat and stuff. I just haven't had time, or I go to explore that I think is worth putting on and telling people about. I have so many back tapes on travels. Uh, I'm out and about. So I'm going to have two shows. I'm out and about, and I'm out and about travels. When it's travels, it's I'm out on a destination. And when it's not, it's going to be just physically moving around outside and meeting people. So if you see me out there, come say hello, JudgeDesire for now. And with that being said, bringing the truth and nothing but the truth on Know Your Truth. Real Talk with me, JudgeDesire for Knowledge, is now adjourned. And I will check you next week, Saturday, for Legal Matters. I hope you all like this show and it inspired you to do changes in your lives and the mistakes that was made, that we can correct them within ourselves. IAAH Radio, I'm sorry we weren't able to tune in today, but you can upload this video for next week. And thank you for joining me all. And thank you for subscribing, liking, and sharing this show. I wish you all best and have a great, awesome weekend. Ciao.